Students, I'm Siraj Khan, lecturer in English Cast. Welcome to my subject Morphology and Syntax. Our course code is English 262 and it's our lecture number 21. Today we are talking about word order transformations. Word order refers to the way words are arranged in a sentence. The standard word order in English is subject, verb, and object. To determine the proper sequence of words, we need to understand what the subject, verb, and objects are. Subject typically a noun or pronoun, the person, place, or thing. Verb is the action or state of being an object. The word or group of words influenced by the verb. Now, the word order in a sentence varies from language to language. Like if we talk about the English sentence, so it starts with the subject followed by a verb and verb followed by an object. At a time here in Pakistan, we are speaking more than one language, as we can speak at a time here in Peshawar, in Kohat, we are speaking Pashto, we are speaking Urdu, we are speaking Arabic as well as English. But all of these languages carry their own language or sentence structure. English goes with subject, verb, and object structure. Arabic goes with verb, subject, and object. For example, if I say وَإِذْ قَالَ مُوسَى لِقَوْمِهِ, وَإِذْ قَالَ, it's a verb, followed by Musa, which is the subject of the sentence, followed by an object, لِقَوْمِهِ. The same structure, if we go through a Pashto sentence, so that goes like Uwail Musa khbal qaumta. So Uwail again says, which is a verb, followed by Musa, which is the subject of the sentence, followed by an object, liqawmihi. So Arabic and Pashto, both of these languages carry same structure. Now coming towards Urdu, so Urdu, the same translation, if we go, Musa ne apni qaum se kaha. So now sentence starts with the subject followed by an object, apni qaum, and se kaha is the verb of the sentence. So the main point is that English language structure cannot be applied on any other language. Our Pashto language structure cannot be applied on English. Same is the case with Urdu and Arabic. So each and every language carries its own sentence structure. Like the sequence of words is critical when communicating in English, because it can impact the meaning of what you are trying to say. The sentence, like for example, the chicken crossed the road and the road crossed the chicken, take on two different meanings because the subject and object are inverted. The same would be true if the verb was like used out of order. For example, crossed the road, the chicken. So here is one for you to try. Choose the correct word order for the group of words, like dropped the boy the ball, or the boy dropped the ball dropped the boy. So choose B, you would be correct. If not, like dropped the ball, the ball, and the boy dropped the ball. So word order transformation is our topic. The outlines are word order, the indirect object transformation, the structural formula, and some of the diagrams and the key points. And remember some points. Word order. In English, the order in which we place nouns, verbs, complements, and other parts of speech is extremely important, and the following chart will help us to write using appropriate word order. Word order is important, it's what makes your sentences make sense. So, proper word order is an essential part of writing and speaking. When we put words in the wrong order, the result is a confusing, unclear, and an incorrect sentence. For example, uh, if I say, I am in middle school, and the same sentence, if I come up with the same another structure like in middle school I am, which is incorrect. How are you today? We are asking question on daily basis like how are you today? This is the question we ask. And if I say you are how today, so as like you can see, it's usually easy to see whether or not your words are in the correct order. When words are out of order, they stand out and usually change the meaning of a sentence or make it hard to understand. In English, we follow one main pattern for normal sentences and one main pattern for sentences that ask a question, like the daily statement sentences and interrogative sentences. But the standard word order for English sentences that goes with the subject, verb, and object. Remember, the subject is what a sentence is about, so it comes first. For example, um, the dog eats popcorn. So the dog is the subject, eats is the verb, and popcorn is the object. Now here, subject, verb, and complement. Ali is a doctor. Ali is the subject, is the verb, and doctor is the complement. Now another subject, verb, and object structure, which is the basic and standard structure of a simple English sentence. Like Ashir bakes a cake. So here Ashir is the subject. The subject comes first in a sentence because it makes our meaning clear when writing and speaking. Then verb backs. The verb comes after the subject and the object comes after the verb. And that's the most common word order. Otherwise, a sentence doesn't make sense. Like if I say a cake, Ashir bakes, or bakes a cake, Ashir. Subject, verb, indirect object, indirect object. Another structure, we can have double objects or direct and indirect objects in a sentence, like I bought you a pair of earrings. Now here I is the subject, but is the verb. We are having an indirect object here, you, in a direct object, a pair of earrings. Other examples: subject, verb, indirect object, and a prepositional phrase. Like here, subject Ayla, verb writes, a letter, indirect object. An indirect object here, when we add an indirect object, a sentence will follow a slightly different order. Indirect objects always come between the verb and the object, following the pattern like subject, verb, indirect object, like this. Like another example, I fed the dog some popcorn. here. And then the indirect object followed by a prepositional phrase. A prepositional phrase here also have special positions in sentences, like when we use the prepositions like to, are, for, then the indirect object becomes part of a prepositional phrase and follows the order subject verb object in prepositional phrase. Like Ayla writes a letter for him. So Ayla subject writes is a verb, and a letter is an indirect object, and for him is a prepositional phrase. So the structure goes like SVIP, subject, verb, object, and prepositional phrase. Other prepositional phrases like determining time and location can go at either the beginning or the end of a sentence, like if I say he ate popcorn at the fair, or at the fair he ate popcorn. In the morning, I'll go home in the morning. Some other examples of prepositional phrases. Modifiers can be used to start a sentence with, followed by a subject and verb. And these modifiers can be adjectives or adverbs, like the yellow balloon burst. Subject, verb, modifiers, and object complement, like the waiter brought a delicious cake. So the waiter is the subject, brought is the verb, a delicious is a modifier that modifies what? A cake, which is the object complement. Modifiers subject, verb, object complement, and these modifiers can be adverbs. Yesterday I saw you. So adverbs modify verbs. Adjectives and other adverbs, that is the function of an adverb. It can modify a verb, it can modify an adjective, and it can modify another adverb. Adding things like time, manner, degree, and often end in ly, like ly, like slowly, recently, nearly, and so on. As a rule, an adverb or any modifier should be as close as possible to the thing it is modifying. But adverbs are special because they can usually placed in more than one spot in the sentence and are still correct. So there are rules about their placement, but also many exceptions. In general, uh, when modifying an adjective or adverb, an adverb should go before the word it modifies, like if I say the dog was extremely hungry, so adverb modifies hungry, extremely hungry. And yesterday I saw you, so it modifies the verb saw. Like the extremely dog was hungry, which is incorrect. Extremely the dog was hungry, which is incorrect. The dog was hungry extremely, which is incorrect. So the place is most important. Is here you can, like, I'm giving you an example. Here the word extremely only makes sense just before the adjective hungry. In this situation, the adverb can only go in one place. When modifying a verb, an adverb should generally go right after the word it modifies, as in the first sentence below. But these other uses are also correct, like yesterday I saw you. Sometimes, like these adverbs that expressing frequency, like how often something happens. Ashir is never angry. So here, never is an adverb expresses frequency, how often something happens. The adverb goes directly after the subject. Like Ashir is never angry. Like other examples, he never runs slowly. I rarely see him. The dog always eats popcorn. Adverbs expressing time when something happens can go at either the beginning or of the end of the sentence, and the adverbs of frequency comes before the verb. The next structure that goes like subject, verb, object, and modifier verbs. Like Mr. Ali gave the test this morning. So here is a modifier verb. The indirect object transformation, like we may ask if we depend on these five types in order to communicate how well our language performance be. In addition to that, we need a phenomenon by which we are able to express complex relationships between ideas, attitudes, and differences in emphasis. As a result, one sentence can be transformed into another in English to emphasize information, to ask questions, to issue imperative, or to negate, etc. Thus, a phenomenon resulting from the combining of simple structures into more complex ones is called sentence transformation. Like combining simple structures into more complex ones is actually sentence transformation. Like words may be added, moved, or deleted by transformations. We can add or can move or delete some words. The indirect object transformation, our ability to move constituents, helps to explain sentence variety. For example, here we can take an example like Maria gave a gift to George. Carol picked some flowers for her cousin. Like both of these sentences contain a transitive verb and belong to the type V pattern. Next sentence V pattern is equal to noun phrase 1 plus main verb which is transitive and followed by a gift which is noun phrase 2, and to George is adverbial preposition. Contain a prepositional phrase with to or for following the direct object that functions as adverbial modifier of the verb. Like here we can have that formula SV is equal to noun phrase 1 plus main verb transitive plus noun phrase 2 plus adverbial modifiers are prepositions. Contain a prepositional phrase with to or for following the direct object that functions as adverbial modifier of the verb. Like Maria gave Ali a gift. Ayla picked her cousin some flowers. So have the same meaning but different patterns. There is Maria gave a gift to George. Maria gave Ali a gift. Ayla picked her cousin some flowers. or Carol picked some flowers for her cousin. Now have the same meaning but different patterns. So it's V pattern is equal to, it goes like noun phrase 1 plus main verb transitive plus noun phrase 2 plus noun phrase 3. Have a direct object which was moved and now is noun phrase 3. Have an indirect object, the preposition was deleted, and the first noun phrase following the transitive verb noun phrase 2. The structural formula, or it goes for an indirect object, that sentence pattern noun phrase 1 plus main verb transitive plus noun phrase 2 and NP3. Maria gave Ali a gift. Ayla picked her cousin some flowers. So subject, indirect object, direct object have different references here. Noun phrase 1, noun phrase 2, noun phrase 3. Remember the noun phrase in P to clarify the new relationship between Ali and a gift. Anytime you have a sentence containing a constituent noun phrase 2, the verb is transitive. If there is no other noun phrase constituent of the verb phrase, noun phrase 2 is the direct object. When you have both in P2 and in P3, the verb is still transitive, but the sentence contains an indirect object. Like, what is used to identify a direct object, to or for whom to identify indirect object recipient. Now read Kellogg diagrams. Applying step by step, we can visualize the transformational relationship in this way. Like Maria gave a gift to George. So Maria slash gave goes to George a gift. So move the object of the preposition to follow the verb. Maria gave George a gift. 2. Delete the preposition Maria gave George a gift. Treat diagrams like type V transitive verb, sentence with direct object and adverbial phrase, like sentence noun phrase 1, verb phrase, Maria gave a gift to George. Main verb, noun phrase 2, a gift, adverbial phrase to George. Maria gave George a gift. It's noun phrase 1, verb phrase, main verb phrase, noun phrase 2, noun phrase 3. In the second, now type V transitive verb, sentence with direct and indirect objects. So Maria gave George direct, indirect object, and a gift is the direct object. Indirect object and object complements, like sentence noun phrase 1 plus main verb plus noun phrase 2 plus noun phrase 3. Indirect object, Edwin brought Eleanor a jewel. So Edwin brought Eleanor a jewel. Jewel is a direct object. Eleanor is an indirect object derived from Edwin brought a jewel to Eleanor. So noun phrase 1, main verb, noun phrase 2, noun phrase, object complement, like Edwin considered Eleanor a jewel. The words of a sentence must be in the correct order to make sure that the sentence makes sense. Follow the standard structure of a sentence well. give us sense. The words of a sentence can be put in a different order without losing its meanings. Like you can change the pattern, but not to lose its meaning. Changing the word order of a sentence can give it a different meaning, like you can help me. Can you help me? Now, here, you can help me is a simple affirmative sentence. Can you help me? We change that into interrogative. In this case, changing the word order turned the first sentence into a question. And then, of course, the punctuation also has to be changed. In the first, we put an affirmative sentence, the word order, subject, verb, and object, and an auxiliary, model auxiliary is also there, can help me, followed by a period. But when we change that into interrogative, we have to put a punctuation mark is interrogative mark. And here, put the words in the right order so that the sentences make sense. Like, next I do what should. Homework done, Lisa. Her hadn't. The mom, Tony Shops, went in his too. Sleeping Kate was the. Oh, these are the words, but not in proper order. We have changed the pattern, but not giving us. Next, I do what should. Homework done, Lisa. Her hadn't. The mom, Tony Shops, went in his too. Sleeping Kate was the. Remember, if a sentence contains a constituent noun phrase too, the verb is intransitive. If there is no other noun phrase constituent of the verb phrase, NP2 is the direct object. If there are both NP2 and NP3, the verb is still transitive, but the sentence contains an indirect object. NP2 is the indirect object, noun phrase 3 is the direct object. To ask what to identify the direct object, to ask what to whom or for whom to identify the indirect object. Indirect object can be removed from a sentence basis action of the verb remains constant. So mistakes, like sometime we go with word orders, like aside from following the proper SVO pattern, it's important to write and speak in the way that is the least confusing and the most clear. If you make mistakes with your word order, then your sentences won't make sense. Basically, if a sentence is hard to understand, then it isn't correct. Here are a few key things to remember. First of all, the subject is what a sentence is about, so it should come first. A modifier like an adverb, adjective should generally go as close as possible to the thing it is modifying. And indirect objects can change the word order from SVO to SVIO, and we are having NP2 and NP3 then. And prepositional phrases have special positions in sentences, like so. Finally, here is an um, like we can go with an easy tip when writing. Always reread your sentences out loud to make sure that the words are in proper order. It is usually pretty easy to hear. If a sentence is clear, then you should only need to read it once to understand it. So the importance of word order, it's what makes our sentences strong and sensible. Proper word order is an essential part of writing and speaking. When we put words in the wrong order, the result is a confusing, unclear, and an incorrect sentence. Thank you very much and good luck.